Arrival of the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala, ably represented by the National ESCO Member Corporate Services, Engineer Dauda Musa. As we stand, we begin with the national anthem. Together we recite the third stanza as our opening prayer. Together we pray, O God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Amen. Thank you all very much, and please have your seats. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome every one of you once again to the 2025 Engineering Week and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch. And ladies and gentlemen, you are at the opening ceremony. On behalf of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, I therefore warmly welcome you to this year's Engineering Week, and like I have said, the opening ceremony. Today is not just another gathering. It is actually a celebration of innovation, resilience, and the transformative power of engineering in shaping the future of our nation. The theme for this year is both timely and inspiring. Why? Because it is renewing the hope for Nigerians through engineering for skills, jobs, and wealth. It is coming at a time when our nation seeks new pathways for growth and prosperity. This theme reminds us that engineers are not just problem solvers. We are nation builders. We are wealth creators and catalysts for sustainable development. Today, we will engage in thought-provoking discussions, share groundbreaking ideas, and showcase the ingenuity of Nigerian engineers, highlighting how our profession can unlock skills for youth, create jobs for the present, and build wealth for the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, buckle up for a moment of inspiration, collaboration, and impact. Once again, you are all welcome to this wonderful event, and together we shall walk through the journey to renew hope, drive innovation, and engineer a better Nigeria. Can you please put your hands together for yourselves? So at these events, we are graced with personalities and dignitaries who have come here to make this day very wonderful, beautiful, inspiring, and innovative for every one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to this event the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. For our friends and well-wishers who may not know her, she is the 34th President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the first female president in our society's 67-year history. Her name is Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala. Please a round of applause for her. But unfortunately, I'm sorry, she's not here today. You know, due to the exigencies of the office of the president, she has to be somewhere, but she's here represented by a national ESCO member who is in charge of corporate services, Engineer Dauda Musa, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. A round of applause for him. Also present at this event is a past vice president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, a past president equally of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, our very amiable yes, I've said that. Past president of NSC, past president of Korea. Our very amiable engineer, Kashim Abdul Ali, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Academy of Engineering, member of the National Institute. Also, ladies and gentlemen, here present is the president of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Engineer Professor Sadiq Zubair Abubakar, FNSC FA Eng, ably represented here by Engineer Dr. Oladipupo Isiaka Mabogaje, fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. You are welcome. We have also here present at this event, I'll call him the groom of the event. We have been celebrating him since yesterday, especially from the cocktail party, the chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch. Please let us put our hands together for Engineer Ahmed ASY Kutigi, MNSC. You're welcome, Mr. Chairman. It's your event, so you are the one welcoming us. Thank you. We have also here present our guest speakers at this event. We have one of them here seated already, the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technology, for Technical Education, Professor Idris M. Bugaje. He's here represented by Professor Diyaudin Bashir Hassan. Let's put our hands together for him. We have also here present at this event the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Engineer Dr. Marcus O. Ogumbi, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. A round of applause for him. You are welcome. We have the representative of the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps here present, Corps Commander Kunle J. Oguntoyinbo. Let's put our hands together for him. You are very, very much welcome. All fellows of the Nigerian Society of Engineers here present, please wave your hands wherever you are. You are very, very much welcome. We appreciate you. We also have here present in our midst, representing His Royalty, Engineer Otis Anyeji, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of the Academy of Engineering, the Obi Onoutu Nnokija. He is represented here by the Senior Contract Manager of Otis Engineering Limited, Engineer Dr. Nnamdi Onyenandu, MNSC. A round of applause for him. All the corporate members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers here present, the ESCO members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch, all the committee members, student members, graduate members, the media, Make Way Media, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome. Can you please put your hands together for yourself once more? My name is Engineer Emmanuel Ejika, MNSC PMP, and I'll be co-anchoring this event with
Engineer Fatima Abagaji.
Yes, Engineer Fatima Abba Gaji. So we'll be doing this together. But before we continue to the program of the day, I would like us to take the safety brief. Make way, please.
Welcome to the Nigerian Society of Engineers. The NSC complies with all applicable statutory and regulatory requirements and is keen to satisfy all our stakeholders. Our premises are secure and covered with a comprehensive CCTV monitoring system. Your safety is our priority. Before we begin today's proceedings, please take a moment to familiarize yourself with important safety information regarding this location. Emergency exits and fire safety. In the event of an emergency requiring evacuation, do note that this auditorium has 3 exits. The main entrance exit at the front of the hall, a side exit leading outside, a rear exit connecting to the main building. The exits in the auditorium are clearly marked to guide you to safety. Take a moment to identify the nearest exit to your seat. During the emergency, please remain calm and please move in an orderly manner through the nearest exit that leads outside. Once outside, proceed to the designated assembly point located at the extreme end of the car park to the rear of the building. Please remain at the assembly point until you receive confirmation that it is safe to return. Security emergency procedures. In the unlikely event of a security emergency occurring, please remain calm as the building will go into lockdown mode. During a lockdown, do not attempt to use any lifts. Instead, proceed through the nearest exit leading from the main building, where security personnel will guide you to the muster point. Please remain there until the announcement is made that it is safe to go back in. For your convenience, restrooms are located at the rear of the platform. They are clearly marked for male and female use and can be accessed via the staircases on both sides of the platform. Medical emergency procedures. Should a health emergency arise, only trained first responders will be permitted to administer CPR or first aid. For urgent medical care, vehicles are on standby to transport individuals to the NSE's retainer hospital, where medical professionals are available to provide emergency treatment. If you need to report an emergency, please call the designated emergency contact at 080
397 54848
or 080-625-57586. All guests and visitors at the Engineering Center are reminded to keep personal items like bags, wallets, and phones always secure. Do not leave your valuables unattended to. The security operatives at the center are trained and are ready to deal with any emergencies. Your cooperation in following these safety protocols ensures the well-being of everyone present. Thank you for your attention. We wish you productive and safe deliberations.
Thank you very much. And then if you're confused about any of them, you can see us, reach out to us. If you need anything, we'll make that happen. Thank you.
With such dignitaries in our midst, we are assured of a most impactful program ahead. It is now my privilege to invite our highly respected chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, and also the gracious event of this host. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Engineer Ahmed A.S.Y. Kutigi for his welcome address.
Thank you very much. Once again, good morning all. The President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Aina Oguntala, FNSC, ably represented by Engineer Dauda Musa, FNSC. The past President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer K. Ali, FNSC, MNI. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the President of Koren, Engineer Professor Sadiq Abubakar Zubair, ably represented by Engineer Oladipo Isiaka Mabogaji, FNSC, the representative of the ESMBTE, he is FNSC for those who called his name earlier, so don't remove his FNSC. The representative of my elder sister, the ES Federal Housing Loan Board, the Engineer Otis Ayenji, his royalty representative, the past chairman of NSC Abuja branch, the past president of APWEN, our own general that is with us always, my own alumni FUT Mina chairman, the co-marshal here ably represented. I was the cadet-in-chief in Oshun, and then we go to Oshobo because my duty post was Ikirun. So we fought to bring the Ikirun unit, first located opposite Eko Ifeledu, and I will now move it to Ekoinde before I left Osun State. I was to join road safety. So it is, I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, the press, I say good morning to you all. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, our revered elders, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pleasure and profound gratitude that I welcome you all to the 2025 Engineering Week and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch. This year, we gathered at the prestigious National Engineering Center Auditorium right here at the heart of the Nigerian Society of Engineers headquarters in Central Business District, Abuja. Our theme of this significant occasion, renewing the hope of Nigerians through engineering for skills, job, and wealth, is not merely a collection of words. It is a clarion call, a strategic imperative and reflection of our unwavering commitment to the progress and prosperity of our beloved nation. This theme also underscores the critical role of engineering in national development, particularly in addressing socio-economic challenges in Nigeria, and how engineering innovation, education, training, practice, and infrastructure development can foster economic growth, create employment opportunities, and empower the Nigerian populace in essential skills. The Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch has always been at the forefront of national development. And this year's theme underscores our belief in the transformative power of engineering. We recognize that the challenges facing Nigeria today, unemployment, economic diversification, and the need for sustainable development can be significantly addressed through the strategic application of engineering principles and innovation. Our focus on skills emphasizes the critical need for continuous professional development, reskilling and upskilling our workforce to meet the demand of a rapidly evolving global economy. These include embracing emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and advanced manufacturing, which are poised to redefine industries and create new opportunities. Engineering for job creation. The creation of sustainable jobs is paramount to renewing the hope of Nigerians. Engineering, by its very nature, is a job-creating discipline. From infrastructure development, roads, bridges, and power plant, to the establishment of manufacturing industries and the burgeoning tech sector, engineers are the architects of employment. We must advocate for policies that incentivize local content development, encourage indigenous engineering firms, and foster an environment where innovation can thrive, leading to creation of millions of direct and indirect jobs across various sectors. For instance, investment in renewable energy projects such as solar farms and wind power installation not only address our energy deficit, but also generate significant employment opportunities for engineers, technicians, and skilled laborers. Engineering for wealth. Wealth creation in this context extends beyond individual prosperity to national economic growth stability. By leveraging on engineering expertise, we can unlock Nigerians' vast potential in agriculture, solid minerals, and the digital economy. Value addition through processing, manufacturing, and technological innovation will transform raw materials into finished goods, thereby increasing our export potential and reducing our reliance on imports. Furthermore, a robust engineering sector attracts foreign direct investment, stimulates local entrepreneurship, and fosters a knowledge-based economy, all of which are crucial for sustainable wealth generation. The development of local engineering solutions for critical national challenges, such as wastewater management and waste recycling, can also create new industries and revenue stream. The role of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. As the umbrella body for engineers in Nigeria, the NSE has a pivotal role to play in actualizing this vision. We must continue to champion ethical practices, promote excellence in engineering education, training practice, and advocate for our commitment to capacity building through workshops, seminars, and collaborations with academic institutions and industry partners remain unwavering. We can also strengthen our advocacy for the domestication of engineering projects, ensuring that Nigerian engineers are given priority in the execution of projects within our borders. This will not only enhance our local expertise, but also retain wealth within the country. Call to action. Distinguished colleagues, the task before us is immense, but so is our collective resolve and expertise. Let us use this Engineering Week as a platform for robust discussion, innovative ideas, and concrete action plan. Let us renew our commitment to professionalism, integrity, and service to our nation. Let us inspire the next generation of engineers to embrace the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, knowing that they hold the key to Nigeria's future. Together we can indeed renew the hope of Nigerians through engineering for skills, job, and wealth creation. Thank you, and I wish us all a productive and memorable 2025 Engineering Week and Annual General Meeting. May the Almighty God bless the Nigerian Society of Engineers. May the Almighty Allah bless all of us, and may the Almighty Allah bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Gentlemen, we welcome to this event one of our guest speakers, Engineer Dr. Umar Buba Bindir, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of the Academy of Engineering. Let's put our hands together for him. He is a former Director General of NOTAP, former Secretary to the State Government of Adamawa State, founder and COO of Bindir Knowledge Center International, Yola Town. A round of applause for him. You're welcome, sir. And then we have here representing a past Vice President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Dr. Bemigo Ofueyeno, FNSC, is represented here by Engineer Chinasa Okori, MNSC. You are welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I'm sure every one of us have program of the event. If we don't have it, please, let's make it go round so we can follow our items on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, may I now invite for her opening remarks the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and Chairman of this occasion, Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala, FNSC, ably represented here by the National ESCO member, Corporate Services, our very own Engineer Dauda Musa, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Can we please applaud him as he takes the podium?
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The hosts of this occasion, the chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, Engineer ASY Kutugi, past president, Engineer Kashim Abdul Ali, FNSC, MNI, FANG, past president, Engineer Tasiu Udil, FNSC, past president, Engineer Otis Hayaji, FNSC, FANG, ably represented here. Our distinguished guest speaker of today, in person of Engineer Dr. Umar Buba Bindir, FNSC, FANG. Another speaker, Engineer Professor M. Baguje, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agric, Engineer Dr. Marcus Ogunwi. Three-time Vice President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the past President of APWEN, Engineer Valerie Ifeko Agberagba, FNSC. Past Chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch. Engineer Felix Nwako, FNSC. Past Chairman of Nigerian Society of Engineers here, Engineer Dr. Ibi Koka, FNSC. Engineer Dr. Ibi Koka is here. You're welcome, sir. Distinguished senior colleagues of this branch, fellows, Engineer General Edmond Obi, FNSC, you are welcome. Representative of the Corps Marshal, here present. All fellows of the society who are here present. Gentlemen of the press, our program coordinator, Engineer Ejika and Fatima, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. Our dear President, the Global President of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Aina Oguntala, FNSC, will have been here in our midst this morning to grace this occasion because this is one of the most important branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. It is the seat where NSC headquarters is located, that's Abuja branch. And so, she's not here because of other very important engagements, and she has given me the honor and privilege to represent her in today's occasion. I therefore wish to use this medium to deliver our address. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here today for the opening ceremony of the 2025 Engineering Week Conference and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch. Commendation. Let me begin by commending the Abuja branch for its remarkable vibrancy, consistency, and commitment to the ideals and objectives of our great society. The energy and innovation consistency constantly demonstrated by the branch is truly worthy of emulation. I particularly wish to recognize the Executive Committee and the entire members of the branch for their tireless efforts in advancing our collective goals, especially in the area of capacity building. Your continued investment in the professional development of engineers is not only laudable, but critical to the sustainable advancement of our nation. The range of activities lined up for this year's Engineering Week is quite impressive and reflects thoughtful planning, purpose, and relevance. I must commend the organizing committee for such an engaging program that speaks directly to the core of our national priorities. The theme of the 2025 Engineering Week of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, renewing the hope of Nigerians through engineering for skills, job, and wealth. This theme aptly represents the critical role of engineering in the addressing some of Nigeria's most pressing challenges, which are unemployment, poverty, and lack of technical capacity. By focusing on the skill development, job creation, and wealth generation, it emphasizes engineering is not just a profession, but a powerful tool for national transformation and sustainable development. It is a timely reminder that through innovation, infrastructure, and industry, engineering can reignite hope particularly among the youth, and contribute meaningfully to building a prosperous and future for all Nigerians. I applaud this vision and encourage continued collaboration among stakeholders to turn these ideals into lasting impact. Appreciation. I would like to sincerely thank our distinguished speakers and panelists who, despite their fully booked schedule, made the time to join us as today and share their insights, experience, and perspectives on this very crucial topic. Your willingness to contribute to this dialogue is deeply appreciated. Our participants, I commend your large turnout and, more importantly, your eagerness to learn, engage, and acquire knowledge. This level of enthusiasm is the lifeblood of any professional society, and I urge you all to remain active contributors throughout this event. Let me, at this junction, use the opportunity to encourage every one of us present to actively participate in the discussion and deliberation. The future of engineering in Nigeria, by extension, the future of our country, relies on the ideas, actions, and innovations that emanate from fora such as this. The Nigerian Society of Engineers achieved ISO 900 and 2015 certification. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to use this opportunity to inform this August gathering that the Nigerian Society of Engineers has recently achieved a significant milestone by receiving ISO 900 and 2015 certification, affirming its adherence to international standards in quality management system. The certification awarded by the Société Générale de Surveillance acknowledges the Society's commitment to enhancing the quality and effectiveness of its operation, particularly in membership services, professional development, engineering education, and stakeholder engagement and advocacy. The certification highlights the Nigerian Society of Engineers' dedication to continuous improvement in its effort to ensure that all aspects of the society's operation are in line with globally recognized standards. These achievements underscores NSC's ongoing mission to provide top-tier services to its members and fosters growth within Nigerian engineering community. 2025 International Engineering Conference and Annual General Meeting. I would like to use this opportunity to remind you of the upcoming 2025 International Engineering Conference and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers to take place from December 1st to 5th, 2025 at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan. The theme of the conference is Engineering Innovation for a Sustainable Blue Economy. This theme underscores the global emphasis on the sustainable use of ocean and aquatic resources to foster economic growth and enhance livelihoods and preserve our natural environment. As the largest engineering gathering in sub-Saharan Africa, the conference typically attracts over 6,000 participants from Nigeria and across the globe, including engineers, policymakers, industry stakeholders, academics, and development partners. I strongly urge you all to register, attend, and actively participate in what promises to be a transformative event. I encourage you all to please visit our website, www.conference.nsc.org.ng, for full details on registration, sponsorship, exhibition opportunities, and program highlights. Once again, I congratulate the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, for putting together such a commendable program, and wish all participants a fruitful, impactful engineering week. Thank you, and God bless. Engineer Margaret Aina Ogutala, FNSC Chairman in Council. Thank you.
Please, that clap is for us. Now let's give the President a round of applause. Thank you very much, representative of the President. Ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, may I take these recognitions. We welcome to this event the immediate past President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Please, let's put our hands together for our digital President, Engineer Tasiu Sahad Gidari Wudil, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Senior members of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and member of the National Institute. A round of applause for him. You are welcome, sir. We have equally here present the head of laboratories, technical advisor to the Director General of the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, Engineer Mrs. Juliana Yoden. Let's put our hands together for her. You're welcome. And we have here representing the Director General of NOTAP, Mr. Emeka Oji, Director Corporate Planning, NOTAP. A round of applause for him. You are welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we go to deal with the theme of the day, which is renewing the hope of Nigerians through engineering for skills, job, and wealth. And from the selections, our guest speakers, you will know that these are seasoned professionals, especially with respect to this team. And just brace yourself for a very wonderful and exciting ride through this topic. As I would invite for his citation, the first presenter, just as it is on our program. Let's make welcome Engineer Dr. Umar Buba Bindir, FNSC FA Inch, is the former Director General of NOTAP, former Secretary to the State Government of Adamawa State, and founder and COO Bindir Knowledge Center International, Yola Town. You can see that the lecture is heavy. Brace for it. Get your pen, get your papers ready, because you are hearing something that is natural, something raw, something that is, yes. In 20 minutes, we'll be having this lecture. So while he stands, sir, please, come and stand here. May I now invite to read his citation quickly, Engineer Fatima Abba Gaji, MNSC. The lectures will be 20 minutes each for each of the two presenters. Thank you.
Engineer Umar B. Binder, PhD, the Baba Mufti of Adamawa Emirates, Nigeria. Engineer Umar Buba Binder, PhD, a Fulani man, was born in Yola Town, Adamawa State, Nigeria. He had his basic education in Yola Town and graduated from the high-ranking Nigerian University of Nigeria with a first class in agricultural technology in 1983. He has a master's and a doctorate degrees from the prestigious Cranfield University of Technology, now Cranfield University in the United Kingdom. He professionalized as an agricultural machinery design and development engineer with an MSc and a PhD in 1987 and 1991, respectively. He is a retired university teacher in agricultural engineering. Engineer Bindir has numerous professional qualifications and awards, including Chartered Engineer UK, Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Fellow of Nigerian Academy of Engineering, Fellow of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of Nigerian Institution of Agricultural Engineers, Fellow of the Solar Energy Society of Engineers. He is a National Productivity Order of Merit awardee and the National Humanitarian awardee in 2023. Engineer Bindir has earned several national and international awards with a wide management level policy, technical, administrative, economic, and political working experiences in Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and Oceania. He has served in the academia, worked in industry, was a full director for many years in the mainstream Nigerian Federal Civil Service. He was a Director General, CEO of National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, the main institution regulating and promoting industrial property and technology transfer in Nigeria. Engineer Bindir was also a secretary to the government of Adamawa State from 2015 to 2019. In 2020, he was appointed as the Director of Innovation and Research at the Air Force Institute of Technology, AFIT, in Kaduna. Engineer Bindir is an international innovation expert. He is the inventor, patent holder, and leading technocrat on the K-Allo device meant for solving the challenges of out-of-school children menace in Africa. In 2020, he also received a special assistant to the late President Muhammadu Buhari on social investment and was appointed as the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program by the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development for from 2020 till May 2023. Currently, Engineer Bindir serves as the founder and chief operating officer of the Bindir Knowledge Development Center. Engineer Bindir is a thorough technology penetration expert, an accomplished academic and practicing engineer, an administrator par excellence, and currently a result-oriented politician. As the then Director General CEO of NOTAP, he was the driving force behind the national policies and strategies aimed at linking academia to industry for socio-economic development in Nigeria. Engineer Bindir's passion mainly lies in solving poverty challenges through the deployment of technology-based capacity and empowerment know-how. This technocrat is one of the longest-serving yearly invited lecturers at the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru. Engineer Bindir is currently serving as a member of the TET Fund National Research Fund Screening and Monitoring Committee, and also a member of the Ministerial Research Innovation Commercialization Committee. He is also the chairman of the NRFS and MC Subcommittee on the TET Fund National Research Fair Exhibition 2024/2025. Engineer Bindir is happily married to a beautiful wife and they are blessed with 2 children. Welcome, sir. What? MashaAllah.
Thank you very much. She was allocated 20 minutes. My lecture is totally different, so don't give me any headache. It's your fault. Anyway, so I am very happy to be invited again. I always come to this house with messages. What? I should swallow it. I greet everybody. My leaders are all here. And my great leader, who was also my student 2 years ago or last year, 1 year ago. This is me, as you can see, and this literally is my CV. You've heard of it. But let me tell you, when you are a teacher and you become a civil servant, a public servant, and then you work with the politicians, and then you come back and join the public service, you cannot speak for 20 minutes, especially if you're an engineer. You went and you learned and you have to share. What I'm going to give you is not in any book. This is original. And don't worry taking notes. You will be given the full lecture. But if you stop me on slide 7, you will get only 7 slides. The rest will be deleted. So, but today I will speak to you very briefly on renewing the hopes of Nigerians through engineering for skills, jobs, and wealth. And the chairman deliberately whispered to me, he said, please, I should talk riding on the theme of our National Society Engineering Innovation for Sustainable Blue Economy, so that it links with what is going to happen in Ibadan later this year. And I went to the internet. I checked what the blue economy is. It's all to do with water, rivers, lakes, and fish, and so on and so forth. But while we use all that as a sector, we should not leave the environment totally belated or reduced. This literally forms the whole concept of the conference. But if you look at the topic very briefly, it is aligned to the renewed hope of the president. And the renewed hope of the president rides on 8 priority areas. So that means it is not just blue economy. The blue economy has just been used for a shade, but actually the whole areas of the renewed hope covers everything that we think that is there. Now, we are very, very critical in implementing, running, maintaining, operating, and even burying any project that can actually lead people to live better. So this paper, irrespective of the sector, is applicable. And I can tell you, if we are successful in doing all these bits and pieces that are expected of us, there are normally 3 measurements that will tell you that are you doing well or not. And the first index is that amongst your people, you will see that we would have overcome absolute poverty. There is no way engineers are effective, engineers are working well, they're building infrastructure, they're building schools, building capacity for teaching and research, inventing things, implementing the inventions, making food available and so on, and then we see that our country has got problems with absolute poverty. It does not rhyme. Once you see absolute poverty, which means people are not eating well, they are not drinking clean water, many children are not going to school, their houses are very bad, and so on and so forth, engineering and the engineers must think further. Otherwise, we have not actually achieved the objectives of our profession. Now, even if we conquer this, the second index is actually that we ensure that that absolute poverty solution is sustained. And you sustain it by ensuring that people have skills and competencies, and using those, they are very productive. And when people invest, it works. People have jobs, and they are getting paid for it. And I can tell you, any country where you have this kind of dynamism, you will see that even the young people have got ethics of discipline, the way they greet you, the way they see you when you come in, you're older, they give you a seat, and they carry your bag, and so on and so forth. And the environment doesn't just bubble. People are killing each other, people are stealing from each other. When they have this, it's not possible. And then, because that environment works, you'll find that based on engineering efficiency, to build this middle class, you find that you are living in peace, irrespective of your religion, or where you come from, or the language you speak. You find that everybody has sanity. Now, the third and the most important level of our achievement, if we're working very well, is that institutions in our own country will develop to the extent that our country will be respected. There is no country where engineers are working, things are working, and then people are abusing them. No. We've seen that in our lives, as you see later, that countries where Europeans before were abusing them, calling them little people with small eyes, now they are respected because engineers have actually effectively solved their poverty problem, built skills, they're making aeroplanes, they're building fantastic skyscrapers and trains and everything, and now when you see them, you have to bow. You have to respect. This is the three ultimate measurements. But I can tell you we have been looking for this. Engineers to provide these solutions to achieve these three things for a long time in this country. Look at it. We've tried in the 60s to push green revolution and Operation Feed the Nation. We thought we had enough engineers and scientists and so on to push this country to be food secure, that we will not import a grain from outside. We will produce so much agricultural material that our industries will now work, and so on and so forth. This, we'll see where we are. We've seen that even the late president thought the reason why we could not achieve those things is that we were so indisciplined. Therefore, they launched special programs to say, we will fight indiscipline to the core. And all of us were sort of like artificially joining queues, and then when you eat banana, you are looking for a bean, as if people were looking. Then after some time, you just chuck it behind you and forget about it. And then when Abacha came, it was Vision 2010. We thought we had enough practical engineers and good engineering that by 2010, Nigeria will be food secured. We will also be manufacturing our cars. We will not import tires, and so on and so forth. I can honestly tell you, and there are most of these people that you see in front, and many of you were part of it. And when 2010 passed, there is not even a report on what have we achieved based on 2010 and why did we not achieve it. We just swung. When General Obasanjo came, we just added 10 years. We said Vision 2020. So, okay, with the same people here, we went to Sheraton. We were greeting each other. Hey, NGLE, I've not seen you for a very long time. What is happening now? Where are you now? And then we did Vision 2010. We wrote in fact, the chapters that we wrote in Vision 2010, we just dusted it, changed some few titles, and then submitted it. And then General Obasanjo put needs around it, brought all these experts who are not engineers, the Soludos, the Okonjos, and so on. These are management people. You know, they're service providers. We're the core that actually, then they covered it before we knew, the whole economic people took over. And you can't manage what is not created. And then Vision 2010 under Obasanjo passed. We could not even do anything. Then the late president Yaradua came on board. After 8 years of then he maintained the Vision 2010. He said, no, forget about these needs. Engineers, come back to the meeting. Let us concentrate on 7 points, please. So I am sure, as we sit in this hall, most of these people participated. If you were to ask them, what were the 7 points? You actually have problems. You will get like 10 7 points, different things, you know. We forgot about it, you know. Then his vice president inherited the government. We thought, okay, this will be strengthened. He himself changed it. He said, no, shove the 7-point agenda, let us do transformation agenda. And that's how we continued until, before Buhari left, he landed on lifting 100 million people out of poverty in the next 10 years. So he has already set Vision 2030, and he left. So the key question is, why are we failing like this? Why do our leaders right at the top, they carry booklets with these things? They go to international organizations, they read these things. And we engineers were constantly, particularly we, in public sector. I mean, when you are in Obasanjo's time, if you don't say needs when you are giving lecture like this, you might as well go and pack your things and leave because you are not supporting the government. It is termed as total sabotage to the federal government. 7-point agenda, you must say in line with 7-point agenda. And I think that is why we are now, everything we have to renew hope. And you know, the hope will be renewed. Now we are stable. I have to say this. Anyway, so the question is why? Now, I've checked. There are countries, many countries on earth that have achieved these 3 measurements using their engineers very, very successfully. They've managed to kill absolute poverty. They don't have this kind of poverty we have. You are just roaming around. Each time you go for Christmas or Salah, when people come around you, the first thing they tell you is that we have not eaten for 3 days. We're still at Stone Age level. Nobody comes to you to say that, oh, I have a factory. And this is, you don't get that kind of very encouraging things. So, under these countries, you see some of the key performance indicators. They are maintaining reasonable sanity and peace. They have global technology visibility. When you see the cars, the nice things, it's all coming from those countries, and so on and so forth. And we call them the developed rich countries. They never campaign for this. We ourselves, we're just calling them like they have passed us. So, I went deeper to find out what have they done that we're not doing. We need to learn from these, otherwise we'll just be firing policies anyhow. Number one, you see, these countries don't play with policies. Here we just say policies. Their policies are evidence-based, with data, with very seriousness. Everybody understands what they are targeting. So it doesn't fail. You can have 10 presidents. The policy is consistent, and they're chopping it into bits. We must learn to also do policies like that. Second, their own knowledge system, their research system, their technology evolution system, their innovation system is very vibrant. It doesn't stop. You don't see now cathode ray tube televisions anymore. It started from them. Now everything is LCD. Now is LED. Now is flat screen. Now in Korea, you even have sheet of paper. You can fold your TV and put it in your bag wherever you go, and then you put it. Look at telephones. Now telephone is a computer. Before it's telephone, it's only telephone. So this system is what is functional. The engineers are doing proper research. The engineers are doing proper solution evolution, and they're using it to actually power and so that they are respected. Third, they have what I call the institutional systems of innovation. They are institutions that are globally standard. They work together. They don't have this island and silo mentality. This is my car. This is my money. I am this, my mandate. And you are fighting on nothing. No, they come together to the extent that if you go to the US now, you call heads of 10 institutions to give you a presentation like this, some of the slides are exactly the same. Not here that everybody is just firing so that they can be praised and we're not getting anywhere. That system, they have very serious investment in their research and development. Some is 5% of their GDP, and their GDP in the $1 trillion levels. Money that is every year pumped. This country, nobody even knows how much money. In fact, the estimate by NACETEM is around 0.01 or something like that of GDP, if at all. These are all guesses. You cannot continue generating knowledge, solving the knowledge into solutions just in the air without knowing where money. We just strike. I'm sorry, there are some university lecturers here. In those countries, when they have raw materials, they don't carry the raw out and they clap for themselves that they're actually exporting. And then they wait and start importing the finished product. And then they clap themselves that they're actually giving their people finished products. No. That is where the technology is. That is where the engineering is. It is a clear demonstration that we don't know what you're doing. I'm sorry to say that. This country has 2 full university-level institutions on petroleum. Efron Petroleum and then FUPRE. Yet, we have not even developed the experts on how to look for where the oil is, not to talk of lifting it and processing it. And what do we use to abuse our leaders? We say, oh, no, they are not importing enough finished product to come and give us at the right price. And so on and so forth. These are all lamentations, So, in the early decades, these set of countries are only in Europe and North America. And then they dominated everything. You want a train, you must go to them. You want a nice road, you must go to them. You want to manufacture tire, you have to go to them for technology and so on and so forth. But I can tell you, when globalization came, everybody opened their gate in a controlled manner. And some countries were getting fed up with everything they need. They must go to America, they must go to Europe and so on. So they strategically, carefully used the globalization indices and started following and learning and adapting these values and good practices. And I can tell you, when they looked at all these lists that I showed you, they now also started joining those first world countries, because we now are calling them the emerging countries. We call them BRICS and so on and so forth. And then these are people who are doing all those things. They're doing fantastic research. They're expending money. They don't allow raw material to go out, and so on and so forth. For example, look at Korea, one of those countries. You see, in 1962, when we graduated from colonization at the same time, you see their own export is all about vegetable oil, non-ferrous base, raw silk, semi-milled rice. This was what they were exporting. But then when globalization came, they learned, see what the transformation, what happened. By 2011, integrated circuits, broadcasting equipment, cars, liquid crystal display systems, refined petrol, and so on and so forth, they totally changed. So they are also arrogantly displaying those characteristics of the, in fact now they can point the first world into the eye. Nothing will happen, you know. So there are examples of these transformations from underdevelopment, very poverty and low skills and non-standard country, transiting to no absolute poverty, highly skilled, and then well-respected countries. So we cannot cry that it cannot be done. But many countries did not look at this, and that's why we're poor countries, and all that we are in the third world now, because we're technologically very blurred, we're irrelevant. I cannot see Nigerian tech. It's only when a Nigerian leaves, if Ali now leaves from here, he's fed up, he goes to the UK, and then he stays for 3 years, they see his brain. Before you know, he has become a United Kingdom national, and he's coughing out patents, and he becomes very, very influential technologically. Then we celebrate him. We say, this is a Nigerian. No, he has already transited. He's no more Nigerian, he's just Ali. If he wants, he can even change his name. But we're globally not well respected, and so on and so forth. So, for our country, look at our facts, where many people, fantastic resource to actually look ourselves into the eye and be able to move forward. We have every resource that you can be able to define on earth. That means we need this technical know-how to make sure that we process, but we have very, very weak physical infrastructure, and it is our responsibility, supported by the management scientists and so on. We have very serious insecurity and very divisive nepotic sentiments now, floating all over the place, unnecessarily. We have corruption challenges, so intense that even your own gate man now will now take corruption from you. Otherwise, he will not open the gate for you. He will terrorize your visitors until, if Oga is not good, let me see how your visitors will come and visit you. He will tell them that he is not around. Nonsense. Then later when they talk to you, say, I came, you are not around, sir. Who said so? It's because the thing has gone down to even the ones that are looking. Look at our poverty. It's in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. This is not poverty like you have 2 cars, I have 1. No. This is percentage of people who don't sleep well. They are not drinking clean water. They are prone to waterborne diseases. Their food is not good, and so on and so forth. And you tend to wonder why we are so erratic. And wherever you go, things are just not in line. And then we are now having issues to do with the environment. So, now look at where we are in 1962, just like Korea. We actually seem to be performing better in 1962 because you see, we're exporting groundnuts, we're exporting palm and natural rubber, raw material, roasted cocoa beans, palm oil. It was so heterogeneous. But look at in 2011. This is what our export. It has gone completely to oil, nearly 80%. We're just going to sleep. And even the ones that we were exporting before, we are now importing. So sad. So this engineering week, I think, is a fantastic opportunity. At the branches level and even at the national level, we have to rethink these things. We cannot continue thinking that we are just people with formulae, we know how to draw, we know how to make prototypes and test, clap for ourselves, and so on and so forth. We have to change. Otherwise, this is not going to happen. So anyway, these are lamentations. I will conclude with some very practical things that I've gone through so that we don't continue to say exactly the same thing. Now, first, as an individual engineer in an academic environment. So this is where many of our engineers are. They're in universities, they're in polytechnics, they're everywhere. So I was very young, and I said to myself that this granite pyramid must come back as a very nepotic northerner. So I started. Through my first degree, master's, and PhD, you look at me there, I was studying, asking farmers, what do you do? How do you do these things? What is the problem? And so on and so forth. And I can tell you, I studied groundnuts, published papers, written so many conference papers, traveled the world, and I invented a groundnut combine harvester. Pure engineer, fantastic chap. And I came back to Nigeria, I tested it, this was me, you know. I even had the opportunity to see the president then and demonstrated it to him. Now, every country that is serious, when you reach this level, people will think that actually it has finished. But sadly, let me tell you, that was the terminal end till today. Even my prototype has rusted away and it has gone. And I can tell you hundreds of engineers actually experience. Chairman, I should stop? Okay. Chairman told me that don't mind them. Anyway, so that's it. And many people are actually, as we speak today, have experienced this type of things. And many of our students and younger colleagues are there. But anyway, I realize the key challenges why this is happening. Our country, we have very weak industrialization policy. Do you know that as we speak, we are still having a draft industrialization policy in Nigeria? We don't have a document that will say no more importation of wheelbarrows. We must design them, we must make the steel sheets, we must forge them and do the tires, and no more importation of wheelbarrow or shovels or rakes or whatever. We don't have that document. We're just there. We don't have industry venture capital. Even if you get it right, there's no money anywhere. Technology risk funds or angel funds to help you so that you can be able to go. You know, here is not investment. You have a prototype. You have to try more. So it's like a risk. Nobody will give you this. Then we have very weak intellectual protection and management system. As we speak, Nigeria does not have an intellectual property policy. We have a draft that is sitting in the Ministry of Investment. We don't have one. How do you manage industrial linkage with engineering and technology? And so on and so forth. And then anyway, that one has died. So I got my MSc and PhD, and I also went for global adventure. People call it diaspora, but I have never been in diaspora. I was out of this country for most of my profession. You know the meaning of diaspora? It's a Jewish thing. Diaspora means you are confused. You don't know where your father is. You don't know where your mother is. You're running helter-skelter. You know, I knew exactly where my father was. So I was just walking outside. So all this, but you know Jewish system. Anything that is bad, they will turn it to become good. And everybody wants to be like that. I'm from diaspora, you know. But, you know, in real sense, it's like, I am confused and I don't know where my father. Anyway, so I went there to Asia, still an individual engineer. In an academic environment, I was teaching, I was researching, I was a director somewhere, and look at me. I just changed. I was there mixing with professors in Asia. We go to conferences. We do all the papers. Then I saw a similar problem to groundnuts. I was in the Pacific. I was running my engineering in 6 countries: Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and so on and so forth. They all have this problem. And then this is how they dehusk their coconuts. They put a spike, metallic or wood, and they hit it like this. Their hand, if you look at it, similar to our farmers here. And then I started the same survey that I did on groundnuts, talking to the farmers. I studied coconuts, published papers, and everything. And I invented a coconut dehusking machine. Exactly the same process. But I can tell you, I was all over the place in the Pacific, from one country to the other, testing my invention. When they hear I'm coming, the prototype is flown by plane. They welcome me at the airport with my jeans like this young man. They take me to a 5-star hotel. Respecting engineer, never like you can expect here. And we ended up with a production machine. Many companies were producing it. We had it patented, and I was even getting royalty. That time, best part of my life, when I travel, any airport I land, I just hire a car there. Me and my wife and my children, we go into a 5-star hotel. Money was just not my problem. I never knew that I would come back into this situation. I could have been saving, but I was just burning it. But anyway, the difference is that that environment, all those things that we said we never had were there. They had solid industrial policy. They knew where they were heading to. There was money to support you if they see a winning, feasible thing. And then anyway, I came back. From the Pacific, I came back to England, spent some few years, and then I came back to Nigeria. And then I became a public servant, public engineer, And in partnership with the organized private sector when I was in NOTAP, I tested something like that. Well, if they don't have anything, since my mandate is talking to the private sector, let me see if I can push them to actually push this engineering application. So at NOTAP, I had a typical solution for this farmers' hardest menaces. My colleague Oji is here. So what we did was, Friesland Campina Wanko as just one example, and I had hundreds of companies, Julius Berger, all this Cadbury, Ricket Benkiza, Heineken, everybody comes to me. But Friesland Campina, as a Fulani man, I know the importance of milk. And they have been bringing powdered milk for over 60 years in Nigeria, mixing it with water here and packaging it for you as pig milk. So I called them to I said, look, since you are collecting money for technology transfer, wallahi, if you are not partnering with Nigerian cow people, I will not give you a certificate. We have to learn this milk now. We cannot be just importing milk all the time. They say, okay, what do you want us to do, Dr. Bindi? I said, my sister needs some renewal of hope, please. Do something. We must push something. So we met in Lagos, because if I were to call them to Yola, some of you will say, see this nepotic man, he is carrying everything to Yola. Nonsense. We went to Lagos. I had a meeting with them. And then they took us around to where they have actually renewed the hope of this kind of people. We went to Tanzania. We went to India, Holland. They paid for everything. We went there. And I can tell you, when we came back, we picked a model that was working. See our cows, you know. They said this is non-performing cows. Cow is for milk and beef. And when a cow that is productive is carrying enough milk, it cannot move. When it's carrying beef for beef industry, it cannot move. How come your cows can move for 1,000 kilometers very comfortably? Something is wrong. So we started all the program of breeding and everything. And you know where we were doing this? We were doing it in Ishein in Oyo State. We went there, we worked with the communities. They used to having this fighting, Fulani coming and destroy. We calmed them down. They have pieces of land with grass. Fulanis need grass and land, and we negotiated. So they came in, and they settled, okay? And then Friesland Campina established some boreholes because water is absolutely necessary, and some sanitation. We brought a bit of engineering technology, which divided the paddocks. We brought seeds, we planted it, we're maintaining it with a bit of irrigation. We started training them in terms of volumes. This is how milk, this is how you measure, this is how you calculate your money. And then we did not stop them from doing their traditional ways, but you can see the cows started improving, they are milking very well. And before you say Michael Jackson, even the calabash disappeared. Technology started taking over with the Fulanis. The renewal of hope started. And then they will come and queue up further renewal, because now discipline and the good culture of industry is beginning to enter them. And surprisingly, some Yoruba boys saw the benefit. They just joined. You see how Yoruba Wayo, I'm telling you, instead leave these people to enjoy their industry. They now took it to a higher level. They have motorbike. They will carry 3 or 4 teams. They now started inviting Fulanis from the north to come and settle. It's a big, big industry in Oyo State. People will just clear their land. They say, the next Fulanis coming is our own. No? So they will now keep them, and then things just started going. Then they will come. All the engineering to do with quality and so on and so forth was happening there. And then every month, they will count their money, and I can tell you, they will chill it, take it to Lagos to their plant. You can see they brought all this in partnership, and now the pig milk that you are drinking, there's Nigerian content inside, a little, you know. So this is the renewal, but the transformation is, my sister, from this level, you can see the renewal of hope. The hope has been renewed, and they're smiling, they're looking better, and still the Fulaniness have not actually evaporated. But what I was expecting was that now that we have perfected this model, we should now move to the next level to make sure that we have some kind of cottage industries where you can have also milk vended from our local system. But I can tell you, I had a very sad experience, because I thought from NOTAP, I am not Ministry of Agriculture. It should move to Ministry of Agriculture, who should expand it. I organized a fantastic handing over. Friesland Campina paid for it at Hilton here. We did all the speeches, handed over the project, and that's the end of it. Now it is just skeleton. But anyway, I have retired now. as an individual engineer. I'm now freelance. This lecture I'm giving, President has to pay for my air ticket. I told him that before I was DG Notab, I'll pay for myself. Now I'm living at home. You must pay. Oh. So he is going to pay. So I now, just on my own, saw the challenges of out-of-school children in this country. When UNESCO reported that you have 20 million, close your eyes. Do you see how we are here? We're less than 50 or so. But 20 million children. And the number, should we stop? President, I have 10 more minutes. Okay. So, it's actually a bother for me. And I can tell you, when you hear out-of-school children, so many of you actually think it's a northern problem. Everybody has them. I did the research. This was in Igbo land. These children have never been to school. Okay. You said I have 10 minutes. Thank you. Anyway, so they're out-of-school children, but it's a different out-of-school children. This is in Yoruba land. They also have, when I went to Oyo State, I was shocked. This was in Niger Delta. You see, I went there in Bayelsa, I took these pictures, all this. This is in Kaduna, and this is, boys and girls, this thing catches you. These are ones that are so small. The numbers, state by state, are alarming. And then I saw that the problem is impossible to solve because the characteristics of the out-of-school children in the various regions is so complex, but there's no one solution. So I narrowed down to the Almajiri, since I know that one very well. I was an Almajiri myself. And the Almajiri population, the Hausa, Fulani, and Kanuri, had the highest number. So I went to all this Borno and so on and studied it. And then I developed that special interest. I said, let me develop a model, maybe a solution on this. So I started. The thing catches you very early. We are 1 year, 1.5, this thing catches you. You have to learn a foreign language. You have to write on a slate. This is it as you grow. These ones are 15, 16 years old. Just think, if you think you have a peaceful country, leave them for another 10 years. These ones will move and catch you wherever you are. It's a time bomb. And then I started the engineering research. President Jonathan established 151 Almajiri schools. I visited all of them, just based on my interest. See what you see inside. It's just that politicians have gotten contract to build classrooms and buy this, but the system itself has not changed. Some will put political colors into it, but it has not changed. You see me, I was there, so that you don't say I'm lying. I was there, I was studying this. So I zoomed onto the slate. I said, maybe I can turn this into a very viable infrastructure. I took it, I have a small workshop in my house. This is me, I worked on it. You see me there. And then I produced a new allo with a digital slate on it. I said to myself, if you change this tradition a little bit, don't totally collapse it. Otherwise, some people will kill you because they say you are challenging the religion. So leave it like that, but put something to lift it up to the next level. And then I patented it, I protected it. I started developing the prototypes. I was very good on AutoCAD. I did all the 3D and whatever myself. We started building prototypes. I went to China. I stayed for nearly 2 months working. In China, they even have, which is yet to evolve in this country, they have a group of engineers that are very good in creating a product out of an idea. So you just go there, you pay money, you sit with them. In 2-3 weeks, different products will come out, different innovations, and you pay and you go. We are yet to reach that level, So they made this the first prototype, packaged, and then I came back, I went around the field, checked it with the malams. Many of them liked it. They wanted to have all of it, see me in some Islamic schools. And then in 2024, this is the product I have. You see the bottom there, you can write on it, there's a pen, and the top is actually the digital slate, where that digital now, you have the Quran, you have the Hadith inside digital. But in addition to all these traditional things, now you have skillful things. You can put video up on how to prepare egusi, and how to prepare phone, and how to iron clothes, how to cut your hair, how to plait women's hair, and so on and so forth. So you can put thousands and thousands in the language you like. So it does not matter even. So again, I'm hoping that I will evolve a large pool of people who can actually produce these things, and I'm developing some few software people. And then a lot of you will think, Dr. Bindi, you are doing things, you are only doing it for Muslims. Nonsense. But the only thing that makes this a unique Islamic infrastructure is that head, that T you see there. And I made it in such a way that you can remove it. Once you remove it, any child will use it because the applications is, you know. So you can stand it. It has a camera. You can put a SIM card. You can connect it to the internet. And I even got the bunch because some of us, you don't link to the artists and social scientists. You think you are engineers, you can travel all the way. You can't. You have to link to these people. They are the ones that take the product and deceive or convince people to know that your thing is useful. You know? So this is the allo, and some of the things that you can put in this device, you know, is, sorry. You can put videos like how to make fruit salad or juice. I did this in my house. Buy a pineapple, chop the head and bottom off, peel it off, chop it into pieces, and then just buy one device. Politicians can buy this for communities, and before you know, you are just become an entrepreneur in fresh, very healthy juice. This video app can actually be on their law. And then you can do yogurt. We produce a lot of yogurt in my area. And we are teaching women now in my center on how to make all these jam and so on and so forth from our local fruit. And when you mix it, you can come up with fantastic flavored yogurt, which even non-yogurt drinking people can enjoy. It's an entrepreneurship thing. Snack shops. I started, asked my sister, how do you make bean cakes? She told me just once, say, soak it, clean it, and then put pepper and onion, blend it, and then stir it a bit and start frying it. I did all that in my kitchen, and even me, I can produce a akara. You can put that video application on that. And imagine if you have hundreds of these things based on our informal sector. The sugarcane boys. How do you grow your goats? How do you do your suya? The mama put technology. How do you fry plantain? How do you barb your hair? How do girls plait how do you farm small plots and so on and so forth? How do you do honey? And all this vulcanizer, the pottery, and all these ideas that we have, hundreds and hundreds of them in our communities, you can actually localize it. Only using that infrastructure, you can give a university to a child under a tree, and that can actually change the whole thing. So my idea is that this digital law, if it penetrates well, it probably can renew the hope of so many children, in my opinion. So these are renewal of hope opportunities. And although there are still challenges, you know, we still can take, I got this slide, these still are still there. They're still very hot. You can see key business problems. There's still power problem and all these things that can challenge engineers. And there are many opportunities to apply our engineering to help our leaders to actually go there. And you can see even this 2024 rebased GDP demonstrated that agriculture has enormous opportunity for us to actually interfere. And so you have to look at other opportunities to now push our country to the next level. I conclude with, I want to give some of the branches, including the Abuja branch, some assignment. You see, if you want to do something by yourself, it will not work, not at the level we are. And I want to encourage you to look at opportunities for clustering activities so that you can push. We also have a lot of experience on these clusters and so on and so forth. But aligned to this, I want to charge the branches to start thinking out of the box. Now, look, do you know that in this country, we have a lot of opportunities that clusters are already existing? We have a cluster of oil and gas in Rivers State. They are there. Why can't the Rivers branch actually go to this and study it with the objective? All these institutions that you see are in one place, but all of them are using actually foreign technology. As a director of general of NOTAP, I know. Can you decode this using all the universities and so on and so forth? This is an assignment. If you go to Kaduna, in Zaria, it is that particular town is a town with the highest number of institutions that are technical and engineering in the whole of Africa. But Zaria has one of the highest poverty rates. It's totally ridiculous. Why can't Kaduna NSC branch be able to take this? I can tell them more what to do. If you go to Agbara in the southwest, in Ogun State, Agbara has a lot of blue chip companies in one place. All of them are actually using foreign technology and foreign engineering. We've left them to operate and take money out, and we're just running around like headless chicken. You see that it's all demarcated and it's existing. Why can't Ogun State chapter be able to take this as a responsibility? In Abuja here, I call it Abuja Technology Corridor. If you look from the stadium up to the airport. It is just institutions and companies and universities, all with technology and engineers. You can continue to list it. I even marked it out. Why can't this be turned into a Silicon Valley? Why can't the Abuja NSC go and study this individually? Find out, what do you want? What do you have? How can we come together? And then maybe we can surprise our leaders as a group. And then in Kano too, they have an ICT facility. The Kano branch can do that. In Anambra State, in Newi, the cluster is beyond what you can think of. The Anambra can. So we can actually be able to do these kind of things if we want to, align to what the president is trying to do. These things are very specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, and they are very, very realistic and timely. I want to conclude and say goodbye to you, but certainly I'll have to market something for you, Chairman. You see, I did my public service, but I am now a social entrepreneur. I have given myself a different title. I'm no more an engineer only, because I am now a social investment specialist. I know you've never heard of this. Some of you will follow me soon. So I invest in people. So in the heart of Yola, as an example, I sold everything I had, and I bought this piece of land. I smashed it down, and I built this. This is what I call the Bindir Knowledge Center that you hear. And then I registered my NGO, and then I made the place my headquarters. In that place, I have a big hall that can contain 150 people sitting. I have 120 computers. And every day I take 100 children in my center. Do you know why? I realized that Nigerian children going to secondary school, going to university, the rate at which they study technical and engineering courses is going down. So you have to continue deceiving or convincing these children that technical and technology is interesting. So that's what we do there. We take them, we run them through, they go on the internet, they do all that free of charge. I even bring the out-of-school children, they do so many things. I opened one part of it, I made it into a sports facility because that attracts children. They will be with you. And when they play with their leader, they learn, and then the peaceful coexistence. The future is I will change the center into so many things, and there's a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities around the center so that I can be able to breed young people. All these are businesses that I have designed around my center. And that is why I have moved to Yola, and the future for this is that I will turn it into a hub to do all of these things so that you can be able to come and see. I find it very, very fulfilling, and you are please welcome to either help me or partner with me, or I can come to your community and be able to do this. If we continue to do these infinitesimal things gradually, I think with time we can prove to people that we can also be able to renew the hope of Nigeria so that we can unleash the opportunities to evolve a united, modern, competitive, and a globally respected country, Nigeria. Thank you very much. I have to show you the Allah so that you don't say that I'm lying. You see it here. So you see that? And you can come and have a look at it. Mm-hmm.
You want to present it to me?
No.
Please, wow, that was a wonderful one. A round of applause for him once more. You know, I told you before the time. I told you it would be very difficult for us to have him in 40 minutes. We had him in 20 minutes. So he actually ended up in 45 minutes. 45 minutes. In fact, I was scared of your faces, so to come and stop him. That was a wonderful one. That was a very wonderful one. Thank you very much. Just some key drivers from what he has actually lectured us. We must learn to make viable policies. Very important. We must invest in sustainable research and development. And most importantly, add value to our raw materials. And from what he taught, you can see that he did not just give us in theories. He is actually what he does. What he does. So his lecture is not the talk. If you check the content of the lecture, if they give it to you and you go and have it as lecture materials, those of us that like lecture materials, you will not understand anything. Because the person is speaking in his lecture notes. You could see him reflected in it. Thank you very much, sir. And that reminds us, we are engineers. What is engineering? Application of mathematics and sciences to solve human needs. Engineers are problem solvers. We are developers of technological innovations. Instead of looking for all the solutions wherever they are, we have them within us. Why not look within? Harness our local, these businesses we are looking for outside, looking for franchise and the rest. We have them at the back of our houses. He showed us coconuts. There is what they call coconut oil. If you're able to extract it, that oil is very expensive. And people do business with it. You do your engineering there, you set up your small factory, and then you go. Very important. So I believe that we don't just come listen to these lectures, but we make practical use of them. Thank you once again very much, Doctor. A round of applause for him again. All right, now we move to the next one. Today, we must renew our hope by skills, jobs, and wealth creation. May I now invite to come up stage our next speaker for today, Professor Idris M. Bugaje, the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, NBT, is represented here by Professor Diauddin Bashir Hassan, FNSC. Round of applause for him. And as I equally invite Engineer Fatima Abba Gaji, MNSC, to read the citation of Professor Idris M. Bugaje. Thank you.
Professor Idris Muhammad Bugaje. Idris Muhammad Bugaje is a distinguished professor, renowned for mentoring and training numerous professionals, including professors, industry leaders, and public officials, significantly impacting the chemical engineering profession and higher education in Nigeria. He is an alumnus of Ahmedu Bello University Zaria and the University of Newcastle, UK. He began his career as a process engineer in Nigerian paper mills, Jebba, before moving to the Energy Research Center at Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. Over 4 decades, Professor Bugaje has held notable academic and administrative positions, including head of chemical engineering department at Kaduna Polytechnic and ABU Zaria, and Dean of Faculties of Engineering at both ABU Zaria and University of Maiduguri. No applause. His international academic distinctions included lecturing and leading research collaborations at universities in South Africa and Malaysia. The luminary served as rector of the Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa and later Kaduna Polytechnic, where he implemented reforms that elevated academic standards and raised education administration to new heights. Indeed, as director of NARICT, he had advanced chemical research and innovation, cementing his reputation as a visionary leader. Currently serving as Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, he is arguably the only Nigerian entrusted with 4 chief executive roles, at the federal level by 3 successive presidents, which is an extraordinary testament to his leadership, tunnel vision, and excellent delivery of organizational mandates. At NBTE, Professor Bugaje has launched transformative initiatives, including the digitalization of quality assurance processes, the promotion of sector skills councils, and certification for the informal sector. His flagship initiative, Skills Not Degrees, redirects polytechnic education towards practical skills acquisition, bridging critical workforce gaps in Nigeria. He is a chartered engineer and current registered professional. Professor Bugaje is a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Nigeria Society of Chemical Engineers, the Solar Energy Society of Nigeria, and Material Society of Nigeria. Throughout his career, Professor Bugaje has earned numerous accolades for his contributions to education, engineering, and research. His work continues to shape the future of technical and vocational education in Nigeria, leaving an enduring legacy on national and international platforms. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and happy to be here. I'm here in representative capacity of my principal, the Executive Secretary of MBTE, National Board for Technical Education, in the person of Professor Idris Muhammad Bugaje. As you all know, he will have really loved to be here, but unfortunately today there is an interministerial meeting between several agencies of the government and also different ministries, from our parent ministry, Federal Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Livestock and Development, Agri. All the regulatory bodies are also attending the meeting, NUC, NCC, and others. And therefore, he was not able to come. He has prepared his slide personally. He wanted to be here in person to deliver it. And for all those that have attended any presentation delivered by Professor Idris Muhammad Bugaje, you know what you see on the paper or what you see on the slide is only a representative of what he will be delivering. The paper will be 40%, but what he will be dishing out will be 60%. So unfortunately, we have to today contend with that 40% of what he has written, and I'll be trying to do my best to pass it around. Today is Engineers Day, and unfortunately, Madam Fati, I will call you Madam Fati, not engineer, because you just assume I'm a professor of history or computer science, not even computer engineering. And to make matters worse, my brother, my friend, when he came to the stage, the chairperson and the chairman of the chapter itself, he just says MNSE, something like that. I say, this is serious. Well, I'm Professor Diauddin Bashir Hassan, the special assistant to the executive secretary. I'm also a full-blown engineer, chemical engineer for that matter, where our president comes from. I'm a fellow of Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, and fellows of other associations not as powerful as NSE and NSCHE, so I wouldn't mention them. When you are talking about membership, I'm a member of other associations. I'm not too active, and therefore I'm only a member. I'm a member of Canadian Society of Chemical Engineers in Canada. I've been there severally and still participate. And also a member of ICHEME, that is the equivalent of our Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers in the UK, and so many others. So please feel free, I'm also a member. I didn't find it comfortable calling me professor today in the midst of everyone here, an engineer. The protocol has been cited, but I'll quickly go over because usually you can seek for the consent of the chairman to stand on the existing protocol, as some also say to stand beside the existing protocol. But when you have the representative of the president in person, the representative is here, and also a very powerful member of the executive committee, so you have to try to read it. You also have, you know, I'm coming from the government, so before I call the past president, I will call my permanent secretary, who is also here present. Past presidents are here, I've seen them. My elder brothers are here from Korean, from NSE. My colleagues are also here, and of course, the second speaker or the first speaker, Dr. Omar Bendir, you can't just come and say you want to stand on existing protocol. Very distinguished personalities are also here. I won't be going around to recount them. Very senior retired generals. These are people that have served the nation diligently, courageously, meritoriously. So you can't come and say you have a very senior general seated and then you say you want to stand on the existing protocol. I think the staying in their bush and the Sambisa effort will be in vain. Added to that is an engineer also. We have also the commercial representative who humbly sat behind, who also came early. All those that I have not mentioned, including the photographer, because I'll be taking the photos after, please take it very well. You know, if you don't mention them, no, okay, not mention them, you'll be seeing your pictures half-half, blurry like that. I went to a function and I was reading the protocol and I just said the photographers, everybody like looking at me. At the end of the day, who had the best photos? Me. So I learned my lessons very well. On this note, please permit me to look at the prose paper and try to do just to see it. The title of the paper is Renewing Hopes of Nigerians Through Engineering for Skills, Job and Wealth. Actually, the paper is trying to look at where we are as engineers, where we have deficit, what we want to do, and how do we want to see ourselves in the future. So I'll be going slowly. The first one is he's trying to look at the current state of engineering in Nigeria. And he gave a bit of statistics. Firstly, he said, considering the number of engineers, which is over 200,000 going up again, we should have been more developed than where we are if you look at the numbers of engineers. Again, if you look at the number of institutions, accredited engineering programs in Nigeria, there are over 100. It's not all the nations that you go around and you find these numbers. And even the developed nations, you may not necessarily find them having this large number of engineers. But why are we where we are? The challenges are still there. He enumerated about 4 of them. He talked about high youth unemployment rate, which is about 33.3%, very dangerously. Dr. Bindir has made mention of the effect of these numbers of unemployment, so I wouldn't want to go over it again. But if you have this large number of engineers and engineering programs in various institutions, you should be expecting that this youth unemployment rate should be going down very lower than this figure that we are having. Again, he looked at some of the challenges that we have currently is the disconnect that we have between education and industry need. Further slides along the timeline, you will see he has talked extensively on this ones. But this gap is a serious and a critical problem to the engineers. And that leads to the next one, which is dependence on foreign technical expertise. Because of this gap, a lot of people are capitalizing on it to bring in foreign technical experts. And it is our fault because we've not been able to fill these in gaps. We have not been able to demonstrate robustly that we can fill in this gap, despite all the local content issues that are there, various bills related to the local content. And then we have limited indigenous technological innovation. And this is, again, a big problem. This disconnect that we have between industry and academia, again, contribute to this, because the industry is operating at a different level. The academia is operating at a different level. I will explain again because the paper has a slide on that. But let me just quickly touch it a little bit so that maybe I can just go over that slide. What he's talking about is that if you have real problem in the industry and then the academia is concentrating in addressing these problems, then those issues will be gone. He continues to the next slide where he was looking at, after saying these are the challenges, then what do we do? He explained about 4 points where he said this engineering can serve as a catalyst for this economic transformation. Now, these 4 points are there. They are related to skills development, innovation, ecosystem, wealth creation, and job creation. All these things revolves around engineering. And if we can harness them very well, it means we can be able to achieve the economic transformation that all of us desire. If you look at the skills development, he's talking about practical industry-relevant training programs that equip Nigerians with the demand, Nigerians with in-demand technical competencies. And this is where he was talking about the skills gap. We have a skill gap, and that is not helping in terms of the skills development. This skills gap, even though it is not limited to only Nigeria, because I was in Geneva one time, and then we were talking about the Director General of ILO was given a statistics very worrying about this skills gap, which is in the range of 70%. So it's a global issue, but we should be more concerned with ourselves because we are already backward in some issues. So we should be looking at skills development. Some effort has been made, particularly with our agency, to address some of this skills gap. If you now look at innovation ecosystem, he said collaborative environment supporting research, development, and commercialization of Nigerian solutions is needed. Again, there's a disconnect between conducting a research and then taking it to commercialization. So much has been said, and particularly Dr. Bindir has talked about this commercialization issue a lot. And it's only of recent, myself and him are in a committee which he mentioned, him being the chairman, where for the first time, we are trying to look critically at seeing how these researches are translated to commercialization, there are several steps, several bridges that have to be crossed. So it's not enough for you to just sit in your institution, conduct a research, it will just be a prototype or a research. But there has to be deliberate effort to be undertaken by the government and various stakeholders to ensure that the researches that are being done have reached that commercialization state, because that is the ultimate target. If you do any research, no matter how beautiful it is, and it is just lying in your institution, that is not the desired point of undertaking the research in particular. It is supposed to be addressing a particular solution, problem, and that is what engineering is all about. You now look at job creation. Under job creation, he talked about engineering enterprises that generate sustainable employment opportunities across the various sectors. Now, if you want to create job, it's not a magic. There has to be a driving or a platform where these jobs will be created. One of the simplest ways of this job creation is, especially when you look at the engineering component of it, is that you have to have these engineering enterprises. These engineering enterprises gives you the solution. And therefore, concerted effort needs to be done in this direction so that these engineering enterprises can be supported in different ways. There are several ways in which these enterprises can be supported. I think most of us here are looking at the composition of the audience. I don't have to go much into it. They have experience in that area. And lastly, he talked about wealth creation. Wealth creation, he said, increased productivity, innovation, and entrepreneurship leads to this economic prosperity. All these developed nations that we are talking about, if you look at it, they have one thing in common. They have productivity. They have production. In fact, somebody will say there are some countries that are not, doesn't go into industrial production. When we say productivity, we are not limiting it only to the physical production of goods. The services that you offer, such as Singapore, even though they don't have industries, but they offer services a lot in terms of engineering solutions, soft solutions, and the rest. So productivity can come in different forms. It is up to us to see that we harness these ones, and it is the only way that we can get out of this multifaceted poverty that we have. Our poverty is something else. We don't want to even be quoting the figures. Some states are reported to have like 95%. When you, as he said just now, 95%, the level of poverty that we have is a time bomb. If you have a state that you have 95% poverty, reported poverty levels and index, you know you will have issues in no distant future, especially if nothing is done. That 5% that is left, it will close, and 100% poverty will be there. Now, he now talked about the strategic pillars of engineering transformation. What do we need to do in order to address some of these issues? The issues are complex, quite all right, but he has been able to itemize about 3 of them. The first one, he talked about education reform. He said we need to modernize our engineering curriculum with emphasis on practical skills, industry partnership, and entrepreneurship. We are all engineers here, so please permit me to be giving specific examples, what we did and how we did, and some of the challenges that we have, so that you understand what we are writing here, what he wrote is very germane, and it's something that is happening now. You see, some of this, our curriculum are outdated. That is the fact. There's a disconnect between this curriculum and what is happening in the industry, or what the industry requires. And for you to now do that, you need to review the curriculum. You need to come up with new curriculum. But the truth of the matter is, you need funding for you to undertake these reviews. If the funding is not there, there's no way you can do the review. And sorry to say, the government is not fully funding such reviews. If you look at the number of programs that we have, the number of courses, how much do you think the government will be budgeting for it to be able to do review? But on our part, what we did, through the concerted effort of the Executive Secretary, Professor Idris Mohammed Bugaji, he was able to reach out to some professional bodies, some individuals that will be able to have interest in seeing how they have students, graduates that they are employing, and therefore it is in their own interest to see that curriculum are reviewed. And therefore a number of review, in fact, the largest curriculum review and development in this 47-year history of MBTE was undertaken during this tenure of Professor Idris Mohammed Bugaji as the Executive Secretary of the MBTE. And I think other institutions, because we are coming from MBTE, we regulate TVET. The university regulated by NUC and others can also look at the models he is adopting so that they can do it, because we really, really need it. I will give you a simple example. There are some curriculum that were not reviewed since before I even knew what is secondary school. Seriously. Some were not reviewed in the 80s, and students are being taught using this same curriculum. What do you think will happen? And another example that I want to give, which is related to this curriculum, as you are aware that he has brought a concept note which the federal government has accepted, which has to do with what we call National Youth Empowerment Scheme Program, where you look at skilled manpower from Nigeria and then export them to Europe because they have skills deficit. They have, in fact, they have demographic issues. They don't even have the youth around. So we've been able to enter into several agreements. One of them is ERIC Group, where they take, particularly now we have moved about 50 to 75% to 75 candidates to Europe, particularly in Canada and Sweden. But what happened was, these people, after all the arrangement we did, the signing of the MOU, the various visitation, high-level visitations, and the rest, they wanted to take a very large number. When they came, we conducted an interview, very basic ones like that, and the failure was massive. Out of, I think, about almost over 1,000 that sat, only 25 were able to scale through. So arising from that, for Prof. Bugaje, he was always seeing solution, not problem. So when that happens, he was able to get them come on board, fund the review of the curriculum that we have in electrical engineering to be in tandem with what the Europe has and all of that. It was revamped holistically, and therefore we are now seeing changes for those that are now going to be sitting exams to be taken to Europe. We now also introduce mandatory one-year internship. Before you just do your sideways, and we all know the history of sideways. It's just 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You just do it anyhow and you report you have done it. But the whole thing has changed. If you want to do your mandatory 1 year industry attachment, it has to be done. This has been regularized by Korean and the rest. It has to be done under the supervision of somebody that will ensure that you did that. And that is when you gain the experience. Instead of just going to say, I'm doing it in NASCO, or maybe I'm doing it in Nestle, and then you just move in, move out. We have to know who supervised you, and that is when you now bring the integrity of the internship, and that is when the students will ensure that they have the necessary skills that they needed to have. A number of things he has highlighted. He talked about project-based learning approaches and also the integration of digital skills across the discipline. You will find it so sad to note that in this digital age, a number of our students, graduates, are lacking in the issue of when it comes to digital skills. And the digital skills that is being taught currently may not be sufficient enough to the level that you need it. And therefore, there is need for us to integrate the digital skills into the education reform, into our curricula. He also talked about the infrastructure development. He also talked about industry integration. You see, he said foster stronger collaboration between academia, government, and private sector to align skills with market needs. He's also talked about the need for quarterly industry academia forums, joint research initiatives, structured internship programs. Again, I will give a specific example under this one. Because while he was the Director General of National Research Institute for Chemical Technology, I was there also, I was a director at that time. He now mandated all the research departments to form a cluster. And then he funded them to go around all the industries around Nigeria to ensure they identify a particular problem that the industry have or a particular industry has, and then we come back to the drawing board. That will form the basis of the research we now begin to do. And that helps a lot. Along that timeline, we are able to see a lot of interface between our research institute and various industries because they now have the belief we will give them the solution. So they don't, in fact, all these industries that you are seeing trying to go overseas to look for their solutions is because they don't have the confidence we will give them. We have not tried to reach out to them. But if they know they have the confidence in us that we will now conduct a research specifically to address some of the problems, why will they spend their money going overseas? It's not the government. Private sector doesn't want to release their money anyhow. So arising from that interaction, a lot of problems have been solved in the industry. I remember I was going to Bompai, the few industries that are existing, Sharada, like that. So if that industry partnership can be brought, I think a lot of solutions will come out from that. He also now gave the success stories of the engineering activities and the impact that we have in the nation. The first one is about some vehicles. He talked about it has created a job of about 7,200 jobs, which also led to the reduction in foreign exchange because the jobs that you are creating, you are reducing the bringing foreign experts, which always drain our hard-earned currency, the foreign currency that we have. He also talked about their engineering apprenticeship program trains hundreds of youth annually. You see, if we have vibrant industries, it means all of our graduates will have places for them to have this internship that we are talking about. But if the support is not there and these industries are not coming on board, we have to now rely, as we are trying to do now, for them to now rely in the informal sector for them to do their internship. He also gave the example of Konuku Biotechnology and also gave the examples of some homemade electrical vehicles done by young chaps around, some from Borno and some from Sokoto. I think this is also in the media. They've been able to develop electrical vehicles. So there's a lot of success stories in Nigeria when it comes to engineering, despite the challenges that we have. So the next one, he's talking about the stakeholder roles and responsibilities. Each of us has a role to play. For the government, he says there is need for us to create an enabling policies and regulatory frameworks. Some of the frameworks are there, but we need to strengthen them. Some of them, if you look at them, there are some lacunas. So it is up to us as engineers to now look at these bills, these policies, and then we'll be able to advise the government. Because we are still the government. You have a permanent secretary here, you have former DGs here, you have so many of them at various levels. So the issue of we saying we cannot give the government advice doesn't arise. We have all the people that will do the technical work, we have all the people that can reach out to the government any time of the day. We also need to provide adequate funding for engineering education. We should also canvass for that because engineering requires heavy funding. And if this heavy funding is not coming, definitely the quality of education that you are going to have is going to be the watered version of what you desire. He also talked about implementing preferential procurement for local engineering solutions and the rest. So for this, I think it's self-explanatory. Wherever we can, we should try to patronize ourselves. For academic institutions, he gave several advice that we need to revise the curricula, which I've talked about extensively, partner with industries because it's key. If the industry doesn't believe or doesn't know there are places where solution will be provided, I think they will not be patronizing us, and then we keep complaining. Industry is at a different level, the academia is at a different level. He also talked about the industry in particular. He said there is need for them to provide internship and apprentice opportunities. We need to collaborate on curriculum development, and that is what we are doing. When we want to review curriculum or develop it, the industry has to come in because they are the ones that knows the skills gap that are existing. They are the ones that can forecast the future, and then we try to incorporate all of that into our curriculum development. He also talked about co-funded research and development projects. And lastly, he talked about mentoring engineering students and graduates. Mentoring is very key. The issue of mentoring now, as if it is no more there, but if it can be revived, it will go a long way. As the elder ones are phasing out, others can take up. But if the mentoring is not there, a gap will be created whereby it cannot be easily filled. And lastly, he said we need to join hands in building Nigeria by some of these steps he mentioned. And then he talked about the call to action and the need for us to at least implement one of the recommendations that he has given. Because mostly you find in a gathering a lot of recommendations will be given and then it will just die there. And then another cycle of conference, another cycle of workshop will come in with different recommendations, with different solutions being given. At least it should be harmonized in such a way that at least we pick one whenever we have a workshop or a conference, to pick one out of the recommendation and then try to see if it is implementable and how do we go about implementing it. On this note, I want to thank you all on behalf of the Executive Secretary, Professor Idris Mahmoud Bagaji. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for this wonderful presentation presented by, now let me settle down and call it very well. Apologies for the way we introduced you the first time. It was as a result of what we had. But now that we have it properly, once again we thank Engineer Professor Diauddin Bashir Hassan, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, for this wonderful presentation on behalf of the Executive Secretary of National Board for Technical Education, Professor Idris M. Bugaje. That was a very wonderful one. And Chairman, sir, you have mind. You brought two presenters to deal on a topic that is a problem. And now they have given you challenges, key drivers, and so many things. If you hear from each of them, they have requested what? Follow up, and they want what? You to work on this lecture. It is not just the talking and the theory. They want to see action. So they want to see you. If you notice, Dr. Umar has given you a geographical location somewhere on Abuja Airport Road. You need to relocate to that place now, know what to do with them. And then the second speaker equally emphasized on industry-academia collaboration, and especially to bring out the skills from engineers. A round of applause to our two presenters once more. Thank you very much. And then please, Mr. Johnson, you know you are my friend. I acknowledge you once more. Let me acknowledge you so that I'll see my pictures too. Thank you. Please, and on behalf of everyone seated here, we acknowledge you. So give them one shot. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we quickly go to our presentation of plaques to our guest speakers. May I invite the chairman of the branch, Engineer Ahmed A.S.Y. Kutigi, MNSE, to please come forward as he will lead this session. Thank you. Let's clap for him so that the plaques will come out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before I invite the president for this presentation, I want to specifically mention here the role of the two speakers in my life. Yeah, Engineer Bendir, I'm his son, for those who don't know. So then also the ESMBTE. We have come, I think, almost 16 years now. And I have been in their technical committees almost often. I'm somebody who, I think right from university, I was an instructor, welding fabrication, casting technology, and yet I picked it. I want to end up in that path. Then in the aspect of skills, I want to mention also the president of Core Engineer, Professor Sadiq Abubakar Zubair. When the National Skill Council matter came up, he said, no, the Nigerian engineers cannot be left behind. And he quickly moved a team to meet MBTE, because MBTE is the custodian when it comes to technology in that aspect, and also they are the regulator. And he quickly, within few months, because Koren is a member of the National Council, National Skills Council, and come up with the Engineering Sector Skill Council, then which was inaugurated last year during the Engineering Assembly. So we're just coming on board, and I also appreciate him. I'm one of the QAAs we have in Nigeria today in that aspect. So the president of Koren is so passionate. Now he is in a committee on the review of Koren Act. That is why he's not here. I'm sure he's not happy where he is now, because I will have three of them are eminent people you hardly get, but when you get them to speak, you will know that they have spoken and you have learned. You did not get an information. There is an acknowledgement that is missing. Engineer Dr. Kamaruddin Busari, you're welcome, sir. He is the immediate past director upstream, Nigerian Petroleum. He's also a skilled man, so I think he also started from rubber till he ended up as a director. Just from rubber processing, all this waste management, and you can see how engineering can move you. He ended up being director in the oil and gas industry till he became the director upstream. So you're welcome, sir. So this is where we are in terms of skills today. We are not too bad, but the implementation and policies need to be looked at. We will try our best as Nigerian Society of Engineers, and definitely we will make up. Thank you very much. The President, please, may I invite you to give this token to our presenters in appreciation from the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch. Please, may I invite Engineer Dr. Umar Buba Bindir, FNSC, Fellow Academy of Engineering.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to specially present a token award of appreciation to Engineer Dr. Umar Buba Bindir, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, a fellow of the Academy of Engineers, and other fellows. Engineer Buba has been so wonderful in many years. He has been very consistent. He has been eloquent. If you give him 30 minutes, believe me, it's not enough. 1 hour is not enough. We can be here all day, and he will continue to give his wealth of experience. Please, another round of applause for him. On behalf of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, I warmly present this token appreciation to Engineer Dr. Umar Buba Bindir as a guest speaker at the 2025 Engineering Week and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch. Congratulations, sir.
Please, Engineer Professor Bugaji, please. You know, you can see there is no engineer. He's just a one man that don't like protocol. Just call me Bugaji. But he's a very articulate person and result-oriented. So please, Madam President, I present Professor Bugaji to...
Professor Idris Bugaje, the Executive Secretary of MBT, ably represented by Engineer Professor Diauddin Hassan, FNSC, who has actually distinguished himself today. From his presentation, please, he also deserves another round of applause. He has actually dealt with the topic and give us an insight in what MBT is doing. And I believe we will have more opportunity to invite him for more of our lectures. And on behalf of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, and the chairman and the membership, I hereby present this token appreciation to Professor Idris M. Bugaje, ably represented, as the guest speaker of the occasion at the 2025 Engineering Week and Annual General Meeting of Nigerian Society of Engineers. Congratulations, sir.
So may I now request the President, the Chairman, and our dignitaries, our guest speakers, to take a group photograph. Thank you. The Chairman.
No, it's not included, but I will really want to say one or two things about Professor Idris Mahmoud Bugaji, whom you already know. Just like the chairman said, he is his son. Myself, I fall into that category because he taught me as an undergraduate. My first interaction with engineering was through him. at an undergraduate level. He supervised my MSc, facilitated my PhD, facilitated me to work overseas, brought me back and gave me appointment, and up to today, I'm indebted to him. As they are saying, even that is what we discussed with Dr. Omar Bindri just now, that there should be more than this because he has done a lot that needs to be captured. But I think since the chairman knows him very well, that is why maybe he skipped. He doesn't like it. Of recent, we did a compendium of all the activities that we did in the last 2 years when I joined MBTE as a special assistant. And he doesn't like all these things that we are doing. So I did it silently. When I finished, because he's my principal, I can't go to the public saying this is what we did. You know, it has to pass through him. Immediately he went through, the first thing he noticed, the way his name has appeared so many places. We need to remove it and make it only one in about 115-page document. I said, this is serious. So I had to get renowned people from the media and give them, I begged of them to see where they can remove his name from where I put. Because I did it at the back of my mind, knowing that if his name surfaced a lot, he would just say, no, it shouldn't go public. And trust me, they went round. They did all they can. But his name had to appear 61 times again in that 115 page. So I had to go and beg him and tell him that this is what I did, and this is the people I met, and this is the directive. We all complied, but there's no way to remove that his name from this compendium. So this is proof for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. So Prof facilitated you. Professor Diaudin, I'll come and see you specially, so you facilitate me. Can we now have the group photograph? The chairman, the president, our guest speakers, our distinguished guests here, the past chairman of the branch, the permanent secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the current president. No, down here, sir. Yeah. The DG FCT Emergency Management Agency, our engineer from the upstream. Sir, you can please join us. Major General, sir, you can join us. The Federal Road Safety Corps Commander, you can join us. Otis, okay, Otis is already here. Please. I hope I've not missed anyone out. Thank you. Chairman Planning Committee, please. You are here, Vice Chairman. Join in the pictures. He's here. The Road Safety Corps Commander is here. Thank you. Very much. Now we'll quickly take goodwill messages. To be addressing us first is our distinguished guest of honor, the President of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Engineer Professor Sadiq Zubair Abubakar, represented here today by Engineer Oladipupo Isiaka Mabogaje, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Let's put our hands together for him. The goodwill messages will span 2 minutes each. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My chairman of council, in person of Engineer Mrs. Margaret Ogutala, ably represented by Engineer Dauda. Senior colleague, on behalf of Chairman of Council of Koren, Engineer Professor S.Z. Abubakar, is unavailably absent and is sending his warm greeting to you. It's for the betterment of engineering profession as a regulator. He should have been here, just like what NSC Chairman said, Abuja branch. They are doing review, inauguration of Korean art to review it for the betterment of engineering profession. The new roadmap that we have in Korean focus on 11 sector of engineering. And it will really help the team which NSC Abuja branch is showcasing today. And one of it is skill acquisition. It discovered that we have 4 gaps in engineering: skill, knowledge, competency, and proficiency. And we are working towards that. And another aspect is the MOU. We have signed a lot of MOU with organization and regulators, especially BPP. Last month, NIMSA, MBT, and so on and so forth, to make sure that all engineering practitioners will not lack job employment any longer. The biggest one is Washington Accord, which we focus on. Engineering practitioner can practice anywhere in the world without any molestation. And we are working toward full signatory towards that. And we are now going towards signing accord and doubling accord for other cadres of engineering. From the chairman of council, he supported all engineering profession that anytime we need him, they should come around to brainstorm how we can make sure engineering profession move forward from what all our guest speakers have talking about. I thank you for giving us opportunity to say one or two things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Oladipupo Isiaka Mabogaje, FNSC. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite for his goodwill message the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Engineer Dr. Marcus O. Ogumbi, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers.
Thank you very much, the President and Chairman of the Council of NSC, represented by the Executive Member, in charge of Corporate Services, distinguished senior engineers here present. I just want to use this opportunity to commend this branch of NSC, the Abuja branch, who I call the foremost branch, for being so consistent in showing itself as a major branch and a major force, not only in Abuja, but across the country. I'm very happy to be a member of the branch, and I want to commend the chairman, my friend, and the executive committee for the good work the branch has been doing. I've been following very consistently the programs, the past, and the future. And I can say that the branch has been very, very consistent. Please keep it up. Yes, the program we are doing today, the week, and of course the theme for the week is very apt. Of course, we are moving away from depending on oil, and of course, we have other areas that the country is diversifying into, and we cannot play down the role of skills, role of technology, role of ICT, and of course, the role of the custodian of all this, the engineers, in shaping the future that we need for our country. So I want to say that as engineers that we are, we have a very serious role. We have a very serious role to play we need to harness the technology that is in our hands to actually bring what we need to do to change the narrative of technology development in Nigeria. For the past, I think about three lectures I've given now, these past 3 months, has been on harnessing technology, harnessing ICT in particular, harnessing artificial intelligence to better the lot of Nigerians, to improve the lot of Nigerians. And I think we should take that more seriously. And who can do it? We, the engineers. The engineers are the people that can do it. So I want to encourage all of us, let's keep on pushing forward, of course, to ensure that we actually use artificial intelligence, AI. AI is the thing now, in anything we do to bring about the revolution that we need in this country. And of course, to ensure that the present government of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, succeed. We owe this country that responsibility of making sure that the government of the day succeed. And I stand here to say that we should support the government of the day. Your Excellency, please take it back to our president that we love her and we will support her. As coming from Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we will do all we can to support our own. She is our own, that is the President and Chairman in Council of NSC. She is our own, and we will do everything possible from our ministry to ensure that she succeeds. And by extension, our own branch here also, feel free to call upon us at the ministry, and of course, we will do what we can. Our dear Professor Bindri, Emeritus Professor, because what you have told us today makes you be an Emeritus Professor. Well, along your lecture, in your lecture, there is only one place that we featured there, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and it was not so good. We will do our best. I will do my best as a member of the family to also give you support. If you have not given support in that aspect, we will give you support in the future. Please feel free to contact us, and we'll be ready to receive you. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Chairman, free ticket. You should contact him freely now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we've been taking goodwill messages from, so we'll cross now to the other side. You will know what I mean when I call the next person. May I now invite for his goodwill message the representative of the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Corps Commander Kunle J. Oguntoyimbo. Let's put our hands together for him as we listen to him in 2 minutes. Thank you.
The chairman, the president and chairman council, the chairman Nigeria Society of Engineers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the same protocol. I'm Corps Commander Kunle Oguntoyimbo. I'm here to represent the Corps Marshal, CM Shehu Mohammed. He wished to be here, but because of other exigency, he asked me to come and represent him here because of the immense assistance will be getting from the Nigerian Society of Engineers. You people have been supportive, and we cannot overlook and maybe not appreciate and commend your effort. Equally thank the organizer of this occasion for a wonderful and a fruitful gathering. I always want to ask a question. Where is it that we got it wrong? It's a big question. Just like the lecture, I was thrilled when I heard the lecture, our prof being there delivered. We have over 200,000 engineers in Nigeria. And in those days, in my university days, we used to call some of my colleagues then the YDS engineers. If you have people that are inventing, if you just have 100 of a type, like minds, then we shouldn't be at this level where we are now in this country. Where did we get it wrong? It's a big question. We should just not limit ourselves to paper engineers. Let us be seen as being practical, seen on the field, working. So I'm challenging the chairman here in FCT. You have been given a mandate, and I will be out there to see that things change. And I believe in your capacity. We want to see the difference. Please, all our engineers here, let us go back to the drawing board and see things working rightly in our country, Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much. Chairman, the challenge has now been policed. This order that they gave me, sir, I'm still negotiating from this podium, but I think I have to take it. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now listen to the goodwill message of our past president, Amiable One, Engineer Kashim Abdul Ali, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Fellow of the Academy of Engineering, member of the National Institute. A round of applause for him. Thank you.
Past President, Engineer TSG Udil, MNI. The Chairman, I'm sorry, I'll rewind. The President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Past President TSG Udil, MNI. The Chairman of our great branch, somebody who certainly has done well in office. We thank you very much. Fellows of the Society, especially the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agri, I'd like to especially commend you because it's the first time I'm meeting you, but I've known you by reputation in terms of your contribution to the growth of the branch. Thank you so much. Engineering Week is actually an awareness creation platform. The idea is to go out there and let those who don't know what engineering is all about to have some of idea, especially the younger ones. Because the truth is, we have had, like the PAMSEC said, how did we get it wrong? We got it wrong because we have not been consistent in dealing with data that we generated over the years. Like now, something will come up, some people will begin, some people are responsible for that, the document. What was a former permanent secretary of Ministry of Petroleum? Thank you also for being so active. So we are not consistent in building on whatever achievements we have made. Some people will come up with a beautiful idea, is discussed, and decisions are taken on them, and they are dumped. Because the next person who is supposed to take over does not have clarity of what it is. Instead of asking those who are there to say, okay, what does it really mean? Pride or what foolishness will not allow them to take it up. They will just dump it. You know, I had cause to do a paper recently to an institute, and I was dealing with policy somersault. I called Dr. Bindi, do you have a paper you have done on policy somersault? He said, no, I should go and get a Rosaye report. But in the course of doing it, I saw that the somersault was there are too many somersaults. So I chose to say, okay, let me focus on just small area, education, infrastructure, and public service. Because when you get those right, you are likely to get others right. And I saw how in education, you know, we started from primary 7, secondary schools, 5 years, they changed it to 6-3-4. And once something is changed, the alignment becomes a bit difficult. And from there, other people have come with ideas again on how to embellish the 6-3-3-4 and created other complex situations. So in the process, people outside did not even understand our educational standards again. For many of us here, even if you don't know, you would have heard that there was a time people were coming from outside the country to come and do tertiary education. We had some lecturers who say, when you talk, I had some Indian lecturers say, look, I trained in Nigeria, so you are not no more Nigerian than myself. So many people came to Nigeria. From Germany, from America, they came. And they did this thing and went, and they proudly went back. We had somebody, an engineer, who made a first class in that area. He went to Cambridge. He did PhD in 2 years, a record in Cambridge. So, but at a point, nobody understood again. Now we're sending our children to Benin Republic, to Ghana, to everywhere, spending heavy money that is not available, foreign exchange that is not available, because the thing has been bastardized. It's not only about the standard. Standard has not been lowered. Let's get that one right. Standard has not been lowered. But how do you explain a situation where a child was sent to school to spend 5 years to graduate? He's there 9 years. There's no hope of graduation because of one industrial action or the other. So that is what has happened to our country. So the idea is that, and the real reason, if we must be honest with ourselves, because we have not put ourselves on that pedestal where we'll be respected. Our opinion needs to be respected as professionals. As engineers, the society must respect us. And they don't respect us just like that. Dr. Dingby gave an example. You know, if you know, abroad in those days, not so long ago, they have disrespect for Chinese. They had the same thing for Japanese. Even we joined them in disrespecting those people, even though we're not anything close to them. But today, they have respect for Chinese. In fact, I was in one place, they said, no, Chinese and Nigerians are the ones breaking all academic records now in Europe. Chinese and Nigerians. They have been able to have home support, but we don't have home support. So we need to work on how to get home to respect our opinion. How do Nigerians get to respect our opinion? When anything gets bad, they point fingers at us. A building, even a bungalow collapses, they say engineer. There's never a good thing that they have pointed at us as having done. And a lot has been done. So we need to change our style, become better marketers, and hopefully Nigeria will respect us and the world will respect us. So, Chairman, thank you for this opportunity and congratulations. those who are here, please tell those who didn't come that they missed. You miss because knowledge is critical to any form of development. And no knowledge is a waste. Because, and when you listen to people who had eminent people who made presentation, there's always a takeaway that you, at a point you'll be using the thing without even know where you got it from. You know, there's something you do, you don't know how you got the knowledge, but you have the knowledge. That's what it's all about. So thank you very much, Chairman, again, and congratulations, NSA Abuja branch.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now take the goodwill message of the Chairman and Principal Consultant of GridLink Power and Energy Systems Limited, the immediate past President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Tasiu Sahad Kidari Wudil, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, member of the National Institute. A round of applause for him.
Let me apologize for the breach of protocol. I should have been the first before my past president, because he should be the last. The president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, ably represented by the National ESCO member, the past president, Engineer Kashim Abdullah Ali, FNSE, FAH, MNI, the chairman, Abuja branch of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, invited guests, the guest speakers, other invited guests. Okay, we have past chairmen of branches here, past chairmen of divisions. Yes, I've not forgotten about you. You decided to go lower. Past vice president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers 3 times, but not as number 1. Yes, because you are intimidating us before. Past president 3 times. Now I will intimidate you, past president 3 times, number 1. So our own Engineer Valerie Ifoku, FNSE, good afternoon. I think the past president has said almost everything, but let me just come back to the issue of the skills. I'm happy the DG of National Board for Technical Education has taken it upon himself. I didn't go much about his CV, whether he attended technical school or he attended secondary school. But I know he's a professor. But he has been championing skills acquisition. And we agreed with him here in NSE. That's why we came up with the Innovation Hub. Today, everybody is talking about skills. And there's one thing that we're missing. Energy. Electricity. Electricity is nowhere in Nigeria. And if we cannot fix the power problem in this country, we cannot fix anything. Just fix the power sector, 70% of the problem is solved. I assure you this. All the innovation, that's why Nigerians, when they move out of the country, they perform. Because they have 24 hours. In Nigeria, we have 12 hours. Only 12 hours. Once it is 6 o'clock, everybody is packing. But go to places where they have electricity. The construction work continues into the night. Other activities continue. So our productivity in this country, because of the power problem, is 50%. Maximum. So we need to fix power. for us to have skills, unless we want mechanical skills. That we go to the farm, know how to grow onions and whatever, how to grow maize, that's all. But if we want change, positive change, we need to fix power. That's my take, and I congratulate the branch for this lecture, and I hope more are coming. So I thank you very much.
So this event is going to end in the next 5 minutes. If we take these ones quickly in one minute. May I invite the representative of the DG of NOTAP, Mr. Emeka Oji, to give us his goodwill message in 60 seconds. A round of applause for him. Thank
you. The President and Chairman in Council, and the President of the NSE Abuja branch, permit me to specially recognize my boss. When the second guest speaker was speaking, he talked about his boss, but I think I'm in a proper position to talk about my own boss here. And the man that mentored me and is still mentoring me. Please permit me to recognize and acknowledge Engineer Dr. Umar Bindri, my former Director General, and who is still very active within the country. My DG, sir, I celebrate you. I'm here on behalf of my current Director General. Incidentally, all the people that have been speaking are men, but now there's a woman, Dr. Barrister Biageli Amadiobi. And up till about 11:15 this morning, she was to be here. But then along the line, some national duties came calling. I had to literally be chased out of the meeting to start running down here to represent her. And she prepared a speech. So permit me to read her speech so I can report back. If not, she will ask the president, did I read her speech? And I'll be reported. And I don't want to lose my job. Thank you. It is with great honor and immense pleasure that I convey my warmest goodwill message on behalf of the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion to the distinguished Nigerian engineers and guests gathered at this auspicious opening session of the 2025 Engineering Week of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch, the mother branch. The year's Engineering Week, with the appropriate theme, renewing the hope of Nigerians through engineering for skills, job, and wealth, represent yet another important milestone in our collective journey towards technological development, national industrialization, and sustainable innovation. I commend the leadership and members of the NSE Abuja branch for their commitment in turning to excellence and their unwavering dedication to promoting the engineering profession as a critical driver of Nigeria's socio-economic transformation. Engineering remains the bedrock of development in any nation, from infrastructure to energy, transportation to ICT, and indeed every sphere of technological development. Engineers have emerged as the architect of the future we all desire. At NOTAP, we fully recognize the strategic importance of indigenous engineering capacity development towards achieving Nigeria's technological self-reliance. Our mandate to regulate and promote the acquisition of foreign technologies while simultaneously nurturing homegrown innovation aligns squarely with the vision of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. As we face the complex realities of a rapidly evolving global technological landscape, the theme of this year's Engineering Week is timely and relevant. And the choice of one of the pillars of NOTAP and its former Director General, Dr. Umar Bindri, is a testimony of your desire for excellence and a further proof of the warm relationship between NSE and NOTAP. It is through forums like this where ideas are exchanged, partnerships are forged, and innovations are showcased that we, by the groundwork of sustainable technological development, achieve the desire for Nigeria. I wish to encourage all engineers and professionals participating at this event to seize this opportunity not only to celebrate achievement, but to reflect on how we can deepen collaboration between the engineering sector and government organizations. Our shared goal is to build a Nigeria where local content thrives, research is translated into real-world solutions, and our engineers are empowered to compete globally. Let me assure you that NOTAP remains a committed partner in this journey. We are continually working to strengthen the legal and institutional framework for technology acquisition and to support initiatives that enhance the commercialization of Nigeria's innovation. We believe that the time is ripe for Nigerian engineers to take the center stage in shaping the future of our nation. The Presidential Executive Order 5 has provided the required framework to achieve this goal. On this note, I wish to sincerely congratulate the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch and wish you a successful week. Looking forward to more partnership engagement with you. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite the representative of the Executive Secretary, Federal Government Staff Housing and Loans Board, Hajia Salama Tuladi Ahmed, Architect Ibrahim Anas Aliu, to please give us his goodwill message in 1 minute. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I come to you with great felicitations from the Executive Secretary, Federal Government Staff Housing and Loans Board. I also look at the theme, which says renewing the hope of Nigerians through engineering for skills and job creations. I believe with the Washington Accord membership that Nigerian engineers have been able to secure for current, engineers have already renewed the hope of Nigerians through hard work, particularly in the area of software engineering. We're doing so well in software engineering. Most of the banks that operate in this country under very hostile conditions are doing a very robust and extremely good job in areas of banking technologies, and this is credit to our engineers. The Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board has been a partner and has established a good working relationship with engineers over the years, and we continue to build on that. So we congratulate you for this very good opportunity. And on this note, I would like to thank everybody who has contributed to this occasion. And I say thank you very much, and great luck and all the best. Thank you.
Architect, thank you very much. Well designed and crafted. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now, there are reasons why we take goodwill messages. Okay, may I now quickly invite Engineer Mrs. Juliana Yoden, Head Laboratories Technical Advisor to the DG of NIBRI, please come forward for a goodwill message in 1 minute. Thank you very much, ma. Don't worry, we'll finish very soon. A round of applause for her.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Permit me to stand on the already established protocol. My name is Engineer Mrs. Juliana Tilden, and I'm privileged to represent my DG, Engineer Professor Samson Duna, an erudite Professor of Civil Engineering. And thank you, Abuja branch, for this opportunity to be here. He is unavoidably absent. In fact, just this morning I got the call to be here. He wanted to truly be here because he cherishes NSE Abuja branch, but he is unavoidably absent due to exigency of duty. While I sat there and listened to our guest speakers, my brain was going left, right, and center. I was looking at opportunities to pick, even as NIBRI, even as a representative of the DG, and present that to him. Now, we know engineering is the bedrock of every innovation. And just like the speakers have spoken, NIBRI on this side are trying really hard, not just doing research and keeping it in the shelves. We've done research and we have gone practically to put down this research practically on the ground. Now, every research needs equipment to also do that. And I'm delighted to inform engineers seated here that NIBRI is well equipped with state-of-the-art equipment that will help us do research and will enable us also renew our hope through engineering. Now, these equipments are in Nigeria and in Africa right now. We have equipment that NIBRI have procured, and we've been running research that are excellent in every aspect. So thank you very much, Abuja branch. As the engineers sit down to collate and think of how we can make impact, creating jobs and wealth, let us come together, work together, and our office is also open to encourage these engineering innovations, research that we will do and not just keep on the shelf, but to also practically make use of this research. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, the last one, ladies and gentlemen, very important, you will know why. Let us make welcome for his goodwill message, the Executive Director, Gas, Power and Renewable Energy, AYM, Shafa, Engineer Teima Toila. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you.
The President, NSE, Engineer Margaret Oguntala, past presidents of NSE, the chairman of NSE Abuja branch, past chairman of the branch as well, fellow engineering colleagues. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It took a lot to be here. I know I've been talking with the chairman for a while, and the schedule was really difficult for me to make, but I said, this is my first constituency, and whatever it takes to come here today, no matter how brief, I'll do my best to be here. So I'm very glad to be here. I was privileged to be the president of engineering students, NUESA, while I was in school, and I understood the benefits of the society, and I was a first-hand beneficiary of this society right from the very beginning. Some of the skills I got them by interacting with members of the society in conferences I attended while I was in school. I participated extensively. Some of the jobs I got during my career, I also got them through members of the society that I interacted with while I was even in school. So the society is a very great place for engineers, and I must admit that you're doing a fantastic job gathering us here, and for all the good works you're doing. Definitely the society and our country as a whole is benefiting. I've been involved over the years in gas and power. I've led companies that are involved in gas and the power space. And skill is something that is very, very important. Today, in the gas industry, we are talking a lot about CNG and gas being the future of Nigeria. And there's a lot of gap in that aspect. Today, when you want to even employ, it's difficult to find the right skill to even recruit. And back in EOI and Shafa, what we tried to do is even set up a trainee program, get the engineers right from when they are fresh out of school, train them, and equip them to be able to do the jobs. So the theme of today reflects very clearly what Nigeria needs, and there's no better place to develop this or to make this happen than in the society. So it's a very good work you're doing, the chairman, and I really appreciate you for this forum. Myself, even though I was very active from the early stages, after a while, due to the busy nature of my job, I went missing. But I'm glad you brought me back here today. And there are a whole lot of persons out there like me that can add value to this society, and we will gladly work with you to ensure that we support the society, we support the works you're doing, to harness all the skills and talents we have out there, develop them, and make our country much better for it. Thank you so much, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank God we don't used to have fuel scarcity again. We would have collected your numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. I must applaud you for that. So please put your hands together for yourselves once more. May I now invite for the vote of thanks the chairman of the planning committee and vice chairman NSC Abuja branch, engineer Oliver O. Eze, FNSC. A round of applause for him. If he has done a very good job, we still have dinner. If you clap for him very well, the food will be nice. A round of applause for him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The chairman of this occasion, the president and chairman in council of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, ably represented by my brother, Engineer Dauda, past presidents of the society, the current president, ably represented, the permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, our distinguished guest speakers, executive secretary, FGN Housing, past vice presidents of the society, past chairman of the branch, here present, the representative of the DG of NEBRE, Engineer Mrs. Juliana, Engineer Major General ECNOB, FNSC, the representative of the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Makeway Media, our photographer, the MC, executive director from AYM Shafa, the DG, FCT Emergency Management Commission, and my boss, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a very good pleasure to have you all here with us today. The opening ceremony of our 2025 Engineering Week wouldn't have been successful this way without your presence. I want to very specially appreciate all members of my planning committee for the sleepless nights, all the work they did to ensure that this year's Engineering Week becomes a success that it has been now. I want to very specially appreciate all the dignitaries who made out time out of their very busy schedule to be here with us. It's very supportive, it's very encouraging, and we really, really appreciate it. At this point, I would like all members of the planning committee, wherever you are, to please stand up. Members of the planning committee, please stand up wherever you are. Dignitaries, let's clap for these people. The men and ladies you are seeing have really put in a lot of work before now to ensure that we have this event sail as smoothly as it is sailing. You can sit. I want to specially thank them for their sacrifices and also thank you for sacrificing your time to be with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please be upstanding as we take the closing prayer and then the national anthem. Together we pray the third stanza of the national anthem. Together we pray, O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Amen. The national anthem. Thank you all very much. Safe trip to your various destinations. Let us have group photographs again. If you have missed the first one, you can have another one. Let's have a group photograph, the general public, every one of us. Please, the Engineering Week activities continue tomorrow with the annual general meeting, AGM, and then on Thursday, the dinner. Informations are as on the flyers. Thank you. Let's have a group photograph, please, those of us who are here. The AGM is at the branch secretariat. The photographer should please arrange us. Let's have a group photograph, please. You can climb the stage. Yes. Let's have the dignitary stand. Yes. Other persons, please come up to the podium. Let's have this general group photograph, please. Sorry, it's just in 1 minute. That will be done.